Hey fashionistas, it's me, how are you doing? In today's video I'm going to make Stella's outfit from Winx Club. The pattern for the front tie, halter top and the skirt are available, link will be in the description. Also let me know who your fave character is, so basically who do you want to see next. Flora's outfit will be next, so stay tuned for that. Follow me on Instagram for more content. Now let's get started. These are all the sewing tools I'm using during this project. I will link everything down below in the description box. I made this pattern for the skirt and this one for the top. First I wanted no seam in the neck, later I changed my mind. These are the fabric I'm using for Stella's outfit and the white one is fusible interfacing. First I'm going to cut out the pattern on fabric.
Really can't recall a single thing of what is said to me. It was just like waking up from a fever dream. But now found out that you have someone else and that she knows about me. What a waste on such chemistry. But if we could f the rules, you would be with me. If I'm not supposed to think about you like this, then you...
Starting with the skirt, I'm prepping the skirt by drawing guidelines for the zipper placement, which I prefer to do lately, and placing notches. Place the sticky side of the fusible interfacing on the wrong side of the facing. I'm using another piece of fabric so that the glue of the interfacing doesn't stick on the iron. Don't ask me how I know.
Wanna make a scene, still hoping for you and me, wondering what could have been.
Once that is done, serge all edges with a serger or use an overcasting foot, which I've shown in the past a couple times.
What a waste on such chemistry. But if we could f the rules, you would be with me. If I'm not supposed to think about you like this, then universe up. 'Cause every single thought leaves your name on my lips. Universe up. You know I don't believe.
With the right sides touching, so the side seams of the facing, like so. For now, leave the facing aside and sew the side seams of the skirt also with the right sides together. Press the seams open of the facing and the skirt so that the seams will look crispy and beautiful on the inside and on the outside. Sew the facing with the skirt panel in place along the top edge. Make sure to line up the seams, use pins if you need to.
Think about you like this, then universe up. 'Cause every single thought leaves your name on my lips. Universe up.
Press the seam, be sure to iron the seam allowance facing up when you iron the other side of the panel or of the skirt. Next, install the zipper, unzip it, twist it like so and pin it onto the skirt. This way you will never sew in the zipper incorrectly. The zipper teeth is always facing outside like so. Then sew it in place with a blind zipper foot and repeat the same with the other side. Don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. This is how it should look after when the zipper is sewn in. Sew the remaining center back with a zipper foot so that you can sew as close as possible to the stitch where the zipper has been sewn.
Let me know when you're here, meet me up for a smoke outside.
Then on the stitch, this will prevent the facing from rolling out. Start on the stitching around 2 cm away from the zipper. I did it too close, so be sure not to do the same. You can also top stitch if you prefer after the next step.
I know that summer was a big mistake. I just hope that we're still okay. You always
Pull the facing like so. Sew along the zipper to secure it in place again with the zipper foot. You can trim the corner close to the stitches. That will make it less bulky. In this case I didn't do it because I felt it wasn't really necessary. Flip the corner and it will look like this after that. Fold the edge twice, pin it in place and sew all the way around as shown. Give the skirt a nice iron. I removed the facing because it was see-through, so I lined the whole skirt instead. The last thing you need to do is sewing in the side seam to secure the facing, and the skirt is done. Let's move on with the halter top. For the top I'm using stretchable thread. This way you will be able to sew with a straight stitch, which you normally wouldn't be able to do if you use normal thread when you're sewing with stretchy fabric. Thread your sewing machine the same way as with normal thread. I will be using a walking foot. This is how it looks. This foot moves the fabric forward, also from above. This will prevent the fabric from stretching when you're sewing. So place it in your sewing machine like so. You will also need a jersey needle, which I didn't use to be honest, but I'm telling you to use it. Before you start, do some test stitches on scrap fabric to check if your settings are okay. I tried my other walking foot that came with the machine because I didn't like the stitches. This one looks a little bit different. Here you can see them both together. I did some test stitches with the other one as well, and I still had bad stitches. I retried the sewing machine and that solved the issue for me. Enough prepping, now it is finally time to sew. I lined the top so I have 4 front pieces and 2 back pieces, but you can also use other finishes. First thing you need to do is to sew the neck and the side seams with right sides together. I'm using the straight stitch, of course. If you use normal thread, use the zigzag stitch. You can see how much you can stretch the fabric, which you wouldn't be able to do if using a normal thread. Repeat the same with the second piece. Place the pieces with right sides together like this, so only the outer edge all the way around. I made a mistake by sewing also the inner edge, as you can see here, because I couldn't remember what I had to do, so I was like, I will see how I'll end up. After making the mistake, I remember how to do it again, so you definitely don't want to make the same mistake as I did. After sewing only the outer edge of the top, trim the corners like so. Now turn the top right side out. And now it's time for the tricky side, so pay attention. Take the edges like so, fold it inwards, then you will be able to sew without closing in the top, which I did before. I'm using the same method with the reversible swimsuit I made. You can watch that video if you want to make a reversible swimsuit, by the way. Anyways, pin or clip the edges together so you won't get confused when you're sewing. I started sewing close to the neck seam. I don't know if there are any advantages on which side or at which area to start. Sew until you're not able to sew any further. Make sure to leave a small opening. Take your time and do not sew other parts of the top. Double check the edges to feel if it is flat before you sew it in place. Turn the top right side out as shown here. This is how big my hole was. I sewed the remaining by using the same method. I sewed as far as possible, so I would end up with a smaller opening. Close the remaining hole with needle and thread for a neat finish or by machine. After that, iron the top nice and neat, so make sure to press really good into the seam. And there you have your Stella outfit. Share the video on Pinterest if you like the video, like the video if you want, dislike the video if you want, and tag me on Instagram if you want to show me your work.
Help me